Intel LGA 2011 version 3 platform is just refusing to die. Yes, it cannot compete with the modern CPUs, but it is still one of the best options for ultra-budget and budget gaming computers. In this box, I have got two X99 motherboards from AliExpress for my next reviews. This one is yet another X99 motherboard from Machinist. Here we have the standard minimalistic Machinist packaging. We have one SATA cable, I/O shield, and the motherboard itself. No manual, no warranty card, nothing else, just absolute minimum. This motherboard is called Machinist X99-B9, and as far as I can tell from the AliExpress advertisement, it shall be some sort of a copy of Machinist X99-K9, but just in black color. The motherboard is supposed to have C612 or X99 chipset. It's supposed to have 6 SATA 3 ports, quad memory channel configuration, not just 4 memory slots, but also physical quad memory channel support for the CPU. And then here we have PCI Express X16, PCI Express X1, and PCI Express X4. Additionally, we have 2 M.2 slots, but I'm not sure if they are both connected to the CPU or some of them SATA only. According to the labels on the motherboard, this slot can be used as PCI Express NVMe and as SATA or NGFF. Over here we have extra switches, and these jumpers or switches supposed to turn this slot into NVMe or SATA. This additional slot is titled as PCI Express Gen 3 X4, so if the titles are correct, both of the slots can be used to install NVMe PCI Express SSDs, which is very nice. Then let's take a look what else we have on the motherboard. This is front panel audio, this is front panel COM port. I'm not sure who is still using COM ports. This is a 6-fan connector, USB 3.0, front USB 2.0, annoying speaker, then another 3-pin connector for fans, clear CMOS over here. This one I'm not sure what it is, but the label says J auto on, so that might mean that motherboard will automatically start up in case of power loss. These are front buttons and LEDs, and what's the disappointment here is that we do not have GLPC header for TPM 2.0 module. Well, it is what it is. The 24-pin and 8-pin power connectors are located in standard locations for Chinese X99 motherboards, and to be honest, I like 8-pin CPU power over here better than over here. The CPU fan header is 4-pin and it's located over here, and these ones, as I already mentioned, these are 4 jumpers to switch this M.2 slot from PCI Express to SATA configuration or the other way around. In some of the Machinist motherboards, this PCI Express X1 slot was connected to the CPU, but LGA 2011 version 3 CPUs cannot work with PCI Express X1 connections, so this slot didn't work at all. I hope they have fixed that mistake and this slot is actually connected to the chipset and it works properly. The rear I/O is actually pretty good for a cheap Chinese X99 motherboard. The standard PS2 ports, then we have 4 USB 2, 4 USB 3, Ethernet and audio jacks. These 4 USB 3 ports indicate that this chipset is most likely indeed C612 or X99, because the desktop alternatives have only 2 USB 2 ports and not 4. Just like with any other motherboards, this Machinist X99-B9 will be reviewed on my main channel, so if you're interested in the detailed review of the motherboard, please follow me on my main channel. If the motherboard is decent and it is possible to read and write BIOS using AlphaWin or FPT application, then I will add support for X99-B9 to my Mi 899 application. And now let's open this white one. If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be a Qiyida motherboard with a TPM 2.0 header. Yes, indeed, this is a Qiyida motherboard and the name says X99-H9S. The box packaging is pretty unsafe because motherboard is not fixed in place inside this box. I don't like it, I prefer Machinist packaging much better. The content of the box is basically the same as Machinist X99-B9. We have the motherboard, the I/O shield, one SATA port and this CPU mounting bracket with 4 mounting screws. The motherboard layout is also very similar to Machinist X99-B9, but we do not have the PCI Express X4 slot. Still, we have two M.2 slots, which is very nice. And this one is also titled as NVMe and NGFF, so here we have tiny jumpers to be able to switch this M.2 slot from NVMe to SATA and the other way around. This one is titled as NVMe only, so in theory we shall be able to connect here two M.2 NVMe SSD drives. This one is PCI Express X16 obviously, and this one is PCI Express X1, most likely connected to the chipset. Then we have 4 memory slots, and the title here says 4-channel DDR4, which might be true but also might be a lie. I hope this motherboard supports proper quad-channel memory configuration for the CPU. Physically, this Qiyida X99-H9S is slightly shorter than Machinist X99-B9, so there is a hope that this motherboard will fit into mini ITX cases with the 3 GPU slots, but it's not sure yet. In terms of connectivity, over here we have 4 SATA ports, and I hope all of them are SATA 3.0. Then over here we have front audio connector, 3-pin fan connector, here is a 14-pin TPM 2.0 connector, and I don't know what kind of modules are actually working here, so this is something to test. This one is a COM connector, if I am right, USB 3.0, USB 2.0, clear CMOS, and front panel buttons and LEDs. The 24-pin and 8-pin power connectors are located in the standard places for the Chinese motherboards, and the 4-pin CPU power connector is over here. The VRM heatsink is active. We have this little annoying fan, which might work okay at the beginning of the motherboard's life cycle, but in a little while it will be whiny and noisy, so this I don't like. The rear I/O on the motherboard is identical to Machinist X99-B9. We have 2 PS2, 4 USB 2, 4 USB 3, Ethernet, and the audio jacks. And since we have 4 USB 3 ports, I suspect that this chipset is actually C612 or X99. It's yet to be verified because sometimes the Chinese install additional USB 3.0 controller onto the motherboard and get extra USB ports that way. If you're interested in detailed review of this motherboard, and if you want to know what kind of TPM modules can be installed here, then please follow me on the main channel. The detailed review will be published there.